I was tagged in this post several times. Women really wanted me to get this one out there because it speaks to boundaries. It speaks to bodily autonomy, especially when you're in a marriage, especially in this political climate where women's reproductive rights are being stripped away. So she asked this in the Am I the A-hole subreddit, saying, am I the a-hole for sterilizing myself against my partner's wishes? She says, okay, Reddit, I need some unbiased outside opinions because I truly feel like I'm going crazy dealing with this situation. I, 28-year-old woman, and my partner, who's also 28, have 2 children together, and we've been married for 8 years. For those 8 years, I've either been on birth control when we were preventing pregnancy or tracking my cycle when we were trying to conceive. Adding this just to give the community the context that reproductive responsibility has always fallen on my shoulders. Recently, we discussed the possibility of being done with children since we have our 2 and the family really feels complete. My partner is in agreement that a 3rd child is off the table for him as well. So with that, I thought, great, I can bring up sterilization for either him or I. The reason why I wanted this is because I've had every form of birth control before, and none of them ever left me feeling 100% okay. So I wanted to be done with birth control completely since we both agreed we are done. It's been about 3 months since our talk about more children, so I brought up either getting a vasectomy for him or me getting a salpingectomy, removing of my fallopian tubes. What I thought would be a productive conversation completely blew up. He outright refused a vasectomy, and when I was okay with that and said I'd happily get a salpingectomy, he completely flipped his shit on me, screaming at me about how he forbids it from happening and he won't allow me to damage myself like that. I ended up just leaving the conversation and headed to get our kids from school. But on the way, I ended up calling my gynecologist to schedule a consultation for my salpingectomy after making sure I won't need my spouse's approval. So, Reddit, am I the a-hole if I go through with the sterilization against my partner's wishes? This woman, no, you're absolutely not the a-hole. Your body is your body. You do not belong to him. And he's saying that, absolutely not, like he's in charge. He's not in charge. Women have got to be okay with being in charge of our own bodies without needing the permission of the man. Because what she says, she's always been responsible for the family planning and everything, and she's tired of the birth control. She's tired of doing it. So she needs to decide, is she that tired? The thing is, doing this is obviously something that is going to impact their relationship if he finds out. Is she going to be able to continue to keep this close to her chest and not say anything? I'm not sure, because once she says something, it's going to lead to a fight again. He's going to feel aggrieved that he wasn't let in on it, even though she tried to talk to him about it. But he's still going to feel aggrieved. He's still going to flip out, and the damage to the marriage will be done. All because she had the nerve to want to have some bodily autonomy and do what she wants to with her body as far as family planning. All right, so like Snazzy said, he forbids you. Big nope on that. The person at the bottom says, yeah, and LOL at thinking that the procedure will damage her more than childbearing. Right. She's the one that has to put her body through all of this. Whew. Making a child, bringing a child to full term through pregnancy is hard on our bodies. And if she no longer wants to do that, she needs to stop that. But yes, it is a lot of work to build the baby and then heal from the baby. It's just a lot. And like Superculture said, or the hormonal BS we put into our bodies for decades, because this woman did say she's been on birth control. Firthen says, I love my wife being off birth control, got a vasectomy so she'd never have to be pregnant again since it was horrible for her. Our sex life is way better this way, mostly because her hormones are maybe he meant to say aren't whacked. Baby Toes at the bottom says, my hubs did the same, got a vasectomy so I wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. Cool. So we already have an update. This is the next day. She says, due to the support and advice I found on here, I managed to get the confidence and level headspace needed to try to have another conversation with my partner. After getting our children to their school or daycare for the day, I went to our local coffee shop to pick us up each a cup. I figured it could be seen as a show of care or peace offering. Once I got home, he was sitting at our island, doom scrolling through TikTok. I think we've all been there. I decided standing across from him would be a bit of a better choice, so I gave us our respective cups and asked if I could get his attention for a conversation. Well, what I hoped would be productive turned unproductive quickly as he sighed with an eye roll and turned off his phone. I started by asking the big question if he wanted any more children. I even suggested he doesn't think about what I said on the subject and just tell me his feelings about more children. With that, he answered a firm no and told me, as he had said before, a third child is and will always be off the table. I then asked him if he had any fears or concerns about surgeries or medical procedures. He said no to this question as well. So I asked if he understood the procedure and what it entailed, and he said yes. Yes, he does, which is why he doesn't want me to get it done. In his words, I wouldn't be a woman if I got any part of my reproductive organs, what makes me a woman, removed, and he refuses to allow me down that path. I then followed up by asking about his getting a vasectomy, and he said it's pretty much the same thing for men, and he won't let anyone take away, I guess it's supposed to say, his manhood. The final question I managed to ask was, did he expect me to be on birth control forever? And this man looked me in the face and said, it's worked so well for me already, why change things up? Guys, as I stated in my previous post, I am miserable and in debilitating pain with birth control. At the end of this, I just grabbed my coffee and went to sit on our porch trying to wrap my head around the conversation while he sat in the house acting like nothing is wrong and we're just having a normal day off together. So, like I said, completely unsatisfying. So she tried to have this conversation. He is not giving his blessing, obviously, and now she is no longer going to be a woman if she goes through with that scheduled consultation with her OBGYN. She has to figure out, is this important to her to where she's just going to go do it, take her life and her body into her own hands, or is she going to be miserable, or if she's just going to opt to not have sex anymore. I don't know what she's going to do because this is the most recent post, so I have no clue. So this person says, I'm trying to find a respectful way to ask this, but not coming up with anything. So I'm just going to ask, does your husband have any sort of intellectual impairment? The idea that you aren't a woman if you have surgery is so ridiculous that I can't believe a person with a 3-digit IQ would suggest that. Is there any possibility that he'd participate in couples counseling? And the OP says, as far as I'm aware, he's perfectly fine mentally. I even would have called him intelligent before these recent discussions. The person at the bottom is saying, has he fallen down a manosphere rabbit hole? You mentioned he was doom scrolling through TikTok. Any idea what he's spending his time watching? Rebecca says, 100% my main takeaway from this was dude has been red-pilled. And then hesitation mark says, especially since the algorithm is effective and insidious. It takes so incredibly little prompting to make the algorithm poison the waters of your media feed. He says, one search for archetypes led me to Jung, then to Jordan Peterson, then to Turning Point USA and the Daily Wire. I had to delete my entire YouTube history to get rid of it. I was just trying to remember a writing tip someone had sent me. That is crazy how that person went from looking up archetypes to Jordan Peterson and the Daily Wire. Anyways, let me know what you think about all of this. What do you say to a woman wanting to get sterilized and her husband is like, absolutely not. You're not going to be a woman anymore. Like I said, especially in this day and age with this political climate where reproductive rights are being snatched away from women. Do you feel like your body is yours or that it's up for debate within a marriage? Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.